Hey everybody, today's not a video game playthrough game today. It's going to be taking care of your consoles and controllers and all that stuff. And today we're going to be repairing a PlayStation 3 controller that I've had since I think around the time before whenever the PlayStation 4 was announced. So it's kind of old. It no longer holds a charge. In fact, it used to kind of charge and then it'll say it's full and then 5 minutes later it'll be empty. So we're gonna open it up and look into it and see if it's the battery. I do have a replacement battery for it just in case, and we're gonna clean it up because it's gross. I haven't seen this controller in about a year or so. It's been sitting in my drawer back behind me where I keep all my controllers, and it is gross kind of, and it's got the icky sticky gooey sticks, so we're gonna clean those up too. I make a lot of repairs on my own devices because it's way cheaper than buying something new or a used and then taking the risk of if it'll work or if it won't, or if the battery's really weak on it and now you have to replace the battery. It's just easier for me just to repair my own stuff, and it's fun to do. So come along and enjoy the video and watch things I do on a daily basis. Come on. To make the repair a little bit easier, I'm just going to repair it right here on my desk. I do have a blue mat used to do small tasks like this. These are really handy for gripping. It just, putting things on it, it doesn't slide around too much. It's got magnets to hold some of the screws so you don't flip them and knock them all over the place. I'm going to show you some of the things that I can do to kind of get these sticky sticks, the gooey cleaned up, and all the tools that I'm going to be using. I do have the battery right here. It's ready to go. It's a small battery. I think it's 1800 milliamp battery. I'm not really sure. I did order it like a week ago or so, and it came in, and yeah. So now I'm going to just go through some of the tools I'm going to be using to open up the device and clean, and things that you should probably pick up if you're going to do something like this. First up, we've got a small set of screwdrivers, these little bitty guys. I don't really use these that much anymore because I have something a little bit better to use. And next thing I have is a small pack of different types of grabbers, little tweezers that I use. These things are super sharp, so be careful because they can stick right through the plastic tips and get you. Next up is actually the most of the tools that I use for this, and it's just a quick, you can buy these anywhere online. It's like an assortment of different kinds of tools that you can, I use this one a lot. It's got different types of bits and stuff. It's got a handle over here. It's got it all, just about just things to take apart your cell phone, stuff like that. It's nice and handy to have. Another thing is like dust gets into things, and having a little bit of compressed air doesn't hurt, but there's a lot of backlash of using this or using one that's generated from a machine that you shoot. I don't care. These are fairly cheap, I guess. It's just the Walmart on version. It's not great. They go empty kind of fast. So next up I have medical isopropyl alcohol. It doesn't really matter as long as it's like 90% ish, but this is the 99.9 IPA. This stuff's kind of expensive, but it goes a very long way. It does leave kind of a white residue behind it you have to kind of polish off. You just use a Q-tip or a piece of cloth to kind of wipe it off, but it does clean very well. I recommend it. Another thing is just something to wipe, to clean up stuff. Q-tips are really good. Using cloth towels like a chamois or something like that also works pretty good. It doesn't really matter too much what you use as long as you get it off of the plastic or the contacts. It works. All right, so we're taking apart a PlayStation 3 controller. We gotta find the screws here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we'll go ahead and start taking this apart. I had to turn the air off because it's going to be super loud. Now we got it apart. The screws roll out. Want to just very gently pry. We don't want to pull too hard because we don't want to break anything, like tabs or anything that's holding these together. Very gently. You can now squeeze it together, get it apart. It should just pop apart, sort of, without too much trouble. Ugh. Not too much trouble. There we go. There's a little hinge here that you push in on the back side. As you can see it right here. Now we got that off. Let's push the triggers down and pull it apart. Slide it over the triggers. Probably should have took the triggers off. But anyways, there it is. This thing was just running around there loose, huh? But, I guess it may have popped off of its spots here. Oh well. Now it wants to hold on. I accidentally reattached it. Not a problem. There we go. So we'll just disconnect the battery now. While we're in here, we're going to do some cleanup. I might as well just disassemble the controller altogether. Got a dog hair in here. My dog from a long while back. Go ahead and just start popping this thing apart. I think this has a screw in it somewhere. Yeah, right here. Little bitty guy right there. And we'll wipe off the buttons and stuff, get the buttons. This right here is becoming kind of a tackiness to it. So we'll probably end up tearing it down a little more to get that out. I'm going to take this, there we go, take this and clean it up. Here is the membrane. We're going to clean all these buttons out. Get these, doesn't look too bad, but in here it gets pretty gross. Around with the thumbstick roll. This has also got some kind of stuff in it. So we'll clean these up and we'll be back. All right, so we've gotten the parts out and cleaned, but they are drying right now. And this is the battery that I chose. It's supposed to be an 1800 milliamp battery, which I'm not sure it's going to reach that because these batteries they're cheap. These are cheap batteries, and 1800 milliamps is like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times the limit of the factory OEM PlayStation 3 controllers. Let me see this. On the back of the controller, it says it takes a 500. So yeah, 3 times the size. 3 times the size of the capacity. So we'll see when we get to that point. All right, people. We've got the parts. They're dried. We're good to go. We're going to start to assemble it. And this is a complete teardown. So if you wanted just to replace the battery, you could have just popped the back off like I did. Right at the start of the video, when I popped the back off and just disconnect the battery, pull it out, and then put the new battery in. This is the new battery right here. And let's get back to it then. There's a lot of things you got to watch when you put it back together. So with the buttons, you can't go wrong with the buttons because they only fit in one hole, like this circle button. It's going to go in there. It only goes in one way. So that goes with all the buttons. They're all unique. So you really can't mess it up, I guess. You keep turning it till it falls into place, but it's like a puzzle in a game. There he goes. I also cleaned these up a little bit. They were kind of nasty. They catch stuff from this side if you clean the top part right here, because whatever you're pushing the button in, all your dead skin's gonna fall into these little cracks here, and it's gonna land on this little pad. So clean that too, because it gets gross. Good, good, good. Doesn't have to be super tight because they are metal screws. And oh, that feels so good. Oh, just like the good old days. Triggers are all working. This one's a little spongy. It may not be lined up all the way. You can pop these out while it's inside. This one feels fine though. Well, maybe it doesn't. Oh well. Let me charge it up and we'll see about it. Okay. On a side note, you can take these buttons out if they're not working right. See, this one's now up and right because I took this one out. You just pry at it and it'll come out. Whenever I took this one out, the tab in there was pushed up a little bit, so it was it would have been it would have been jammed in up in here instead of pushing down and pushing on the contact. It was like pushing up against the rubber flap. So that's what was happening with this one. So we're just going to push this guy right back in. Be very gentle. Just slowly kind of push it in. One side then the other. And then boom. Working. All right. Here's the moment of truth. We're going to push the... We got power. Look at that. New battery in that thing. We get it flashing. We got it. Let's see if it boots it up. I think it does because I accidentally turned it on a while ago with it. There we go. Beautiful. And let's get a game going since I already got one put in there. Yeah, you know what game this is. Yeah. Oh, the classic Demon Souls. I just want to point out also that the Demon Soul servers have been down for a little while, but you get an error if you try to connect. It automatically connects anyways, and it just gives you the fail. The very long loading screens of this game, ridiculously long. But yeah, here's it's. You get a little strike here. So it's always a delay, and it's always kind of scary to play this game on PlayStation 3. You go like this guy, like this guy. Shut up. And little whip around there. You got your run button. Yeah. Little roll. There you go. And as you can see, it's working just fine. Hi everybody. I'm back again to show that a small project like this is it's fairly easy, and if it's beyond your skill, you can always look up like tutorials and guides and teardowns on like YouTube. And this was an easy fix. One note though, if you do take these apart and that membrane that's overlapped to touch the contact, be sure that's good, making good contact. And a good way to test it is by just mashing your fingers on the buttons. If you get weird behavior, then it's probably a little sideways, and all you gotta do is just take it back apart, straighten it out, make sure it's lying on the contact correctly, and you're good to go. But other than that, fairly easy fix, and you'll probably see this in a stream or two whenever I play the PlayStation 3 on there. I don't have a whole lot of games left on the PlayStation 3, but I still like to play it every now and then, and that's why I got this controller out to fix it. But anyways, that's going to be about it. And as always, keep it out your butt, and I'll see you in the next game. Take care.